Today in class we're going to learn one new thing about probability. Sometimes the statements have the word "and" in the middle, as you'll notice for this one. So we're going to learn the one extra thing you have to do when solving problems like this. You're going to need to write down these 3 problems that I'm going to do with you on your own piece of paper. Then you can use that to go on my teacher website and click on the digital version of the homework and then fill in your answers through Note. Okay, the first problem says to use the spinner and the dice to answer the following questions. I'm only going to do number 1 with you, but there's a few more on the digital version still using the spinner and dice. Number 1 says find the probability that the spinner will land on red and the die will land on 5. So the first thing I want to do is figure out the chance of getting red. If you look up at the spinner, how many sections are red out of the total sections? So my chance of getting red on the spinner is 1 out of 4. Now the next thing I want to figure out is what is my chance of getting a 5 on a number cube? So I know a number cube has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And all I really want to get is the 5. So I'm going to circle what I want to get. I am looking for the number 5. There's only one of them out of a total of 6 numbers. So my chance of getting the number 5 is 1 out of 6. Now if I want these two things to happen together, one right after the other, we talked about multiplying these two probabilities together to get the whole entire thing. You can, of course, make a tree diagram, but that will take you a lot longer. So this is kind of a shortcut way. Multiplying fractions, we need to go straight across. 1 times 1 is 1. Then I'm going to go straight across the bottom. 4 times 6 is 24. So the probability of getting red on the spinner and 5 on the dice is 1 out of 24. I am now going to skip number 2 and 3. So on your notes paper that you're writing on right now, we're going to go ahead and go on to number 4. Problem number 4 says we are going to use 2 dice to complete the following questions. So on this page, I have 2 separate dice up here that I'm going to be rolling. And it says I'm going to roll each dice only 1 time. In this problem, I want to find what are my chances of getting the first die to land on a 2 and the second die to land on a 6. So underneath, I've written it a little more easy for you to understand. P stands for probability, and then I want a 2 and a 6. So again, I'm going to list out what can you possibly get on a die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the other one, I can get the same thing. My first one says I want to get a 2. So I'm just going to circle the 2. I have a 1 out of 6 chance of getting that. The next one says I want to get a 6. So I'm going to circle the 6 in the second group only. It's also 1 out of 6 chance. If I want both of these things to happen together, I need to multiply those two fractions. Multiply, you go straight across. 1 times 1. Then I'm going to go straight across. 6 times 6. My final answer for what is my chance of getting a 2 on the first die and 6 on the second die is 1 out of 36. I'm also going to skip the next few questions on this page. So later you can go on your digital version and fill those in just like we were doing with this. Make sure that you have information for the first die on one side, information for the second die on the other side, so you can get these 2 separate answers, and then multiply to get your final. The last page of your homework starts with question 7. This one you can see there's a coin and another spinner. This spinner is broken up into smaller sections, and they've also labeled the words for you. Number 7 says, first you flip a coin, then you spin a spinner. What is the probability that the coin will land on heads and the spinner will land on red? So again, I've written it a little more easy for you to understand. P means probability, heads, and red. So when you flip a coin, you can get heads or tails. We really just want to get heads, so I'm going to circle that I only have one chance to get a head, which means I have 1 out of 2 chance of making that happen. Then the next question says, what is your chance of getting red on this spinner? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 reds on this spinner. So my chances are 5 out of, I'm going to count all the sections of the spinner now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So my answer would be 5 out of 12. Now, when I look back at my question, it said, what was my chance of getting heads and red? I want these things to happen together. So I'm going to multiply those two fractions. Again, when you multiply fractions, you go straight across. 1 times 5. Then I'm going to go straight across the bottom. 2 times 12. So my final answer, the chance of getting heads on the coin and red in the spinner, I have a 5 out of 24 chance of making that happen. Okay, those are the only ones I'm going to do with you guys. So if you can now go to the digital version of your homework, use these 3 we did together that you wrote on notebook paper and start filling in your digital answers. Make sure you swipe the paper away to save all of your work. Have an awesome weekend, and we will see you guys on Monday.